Hi, dears, and welcome to this week's Mars Musings. I had so many questions about my time in Italy, about the Roundtable Beyond GDP to bring regeneration to the hospitality and wellness industry, that I wanted to dedicate one of Mars Musings to this. It's been a month, just over a month, wow, since I've been there, and it was one of the most inspirational times I've had in such a long time. I met Davide, who is the chair of Davines Group and also Comfort Zone, at the Global Wellness Summit almost 3.5 years ago, just before COVID, when I was pregnant with my son, where I was speaking on a panel of young, really for the ecology and regeneration, and of young people, and I was talking about the economic implications around the community currencies, really sharing my story, and we connected, and it was so beautiful. And kind of nothing took off since then because of COVID and all the things. That this was the first meeting we had. It was so beautifully supported by them. They really opened their center, their space, the village, and hosted us for this roundtable. And it was just absolutely incredible for me to be there to facilitate the space. And to really just step up and meet these incredible minds from all around the world. I mean, we had professors to many entrepreneurs, from 5 Elements to the Longevity Suite. They're opening up studios everywhere. Journalists from Spar Business Magazine, one of the founders, Martin from Soho House Group. Just incredible people. A lot of B Corp owners who open up hotels. Isabel, she really just did this wonderful monastery in Quebec that she's turned into a regenerative hub and wellness with the nuns there, a legacy of 400 years. So I can go on and on about the participants. But what for me was just the most incredible thing was that we had scientists, entrepreneurs, all different backgrounds in one room, sharing and really bringing ideas together. And it just touched me for the outcomes we really learned. And that's what I want to share on. And also, of course, how everyone's bringing that back into their lives. And I would say the main things that really came out of it was a big one that Aldina shared. She's the head of well-being at Accor Group, that it was all about yourself. And for her, it was key from the beginning. If we can't regenerate the world without regenerating ourselves, if we're not in regeneration mode, if we're not sustaining ourselves, how can we do that to the world? And that became the key and bottom line takeaway for me as one of them, because we've started regenerating in different ways. I've seen this in my money work, that it's not about money, it's about self-worth. It's not about anything else, but really knowing ourselves and caring for ourselves, that we can care for the other and the world on the outside. And that was one of the main takeaways from the morning session. The other one was that we have to move beyond sustainability. It's regeneration now. Sustainability is not enough. And that's key for all of us, really. B Corps, other businesses that really we're doing more for the world than we are taking out of it. And sustainability is not enough, that we're just staying sustainable. So there were metrics being created by different people, just incredible ways to measure and to look at the impact. I really love that. Another takeaway was also just to do it. Get out there and do it. And this was a big one for me. Take action. We're never going to be perfect. We're going to make mistakes. There's going to be metrics changing, but we need to make that change on all levels of society. So if you're feeling the calling in any way, please reach out. I'm totally into this, finding the change. I came back and really went full power with aligned leaders, the business coaching that I've developed to bring alignment into individuals and then into organizations, because I feel the shift needs to happen on all levels. And it's always been my inspiration to kind of bring that work and energy into that field also. And the last one I loved, where Martin gave his input, is the 4 Ps. There's people, purpose, profits. And the fourth one that he brought in was people, products, purpose, profits. So it was really about the products we're creating, about the services offerings, that they're also really aligned, that we're not just creating things that are unaligned from the other P's that we're kind of moving towards in the world. And so for me, this was a massive takeaway from the morning sessions. And then we broke out into smaller groups to see how can we bring this in. This incredible lady, she runs Regenerative Travel, and she really brought that into her next conference, bringing many different people together. How can we make it sustainable? How can we open places that are kind of regenerative? Danny Pecorelli, he has this incredible hotel like chains in the UK. He turned B Corp, the first B Corp hotel, and he really started planting, for example, instead of planting trees, the vineyards, that then he made a partnership with the vineyard producer who sells in the sparkling wine for his hotels. So we're really taking out the transport costs, really taking out the impact to really bring it back local. And this can be done on so many levels. There was one guy who was with us and he said, I went back to my family farm, 4 hectares of land, and we're looking at building it regeneratively. So it's not just the big actions. I always say it's all about the small things that we can do in daily life that also make the impact. And it starts with us. Every small action makes a change. So I was really excited about the summit. We came back a couple of weeks ago. Then we also had like a follow-up call where everyone was talking about the inspirations and the confidence they gained. I think more than anything, it's being in a room with like-minded people, inspiring each other. I mean, I was beyond inspired by what all these people have done with their lives and really dedicating it. I've been working on the fringe for so many years, you know, really off the ground startup projects, really, you know, planting, working on I would say the microcosm, or, you know, really trying out new ways. But when I really got into this context where people with large amounts of resources were there, really, you know, believing in this, it just burst my mind open to think that we can make companies like Davide did. He built Davines with like, it looks like a greenhouse. People have incredible chefs cooking for them, for the employees, the care that is taken. And now they're moving to build the first regenerative, I don't even want to call it a hotel, but center in town where there's community space for chefs to cook in. It's a 5-star hotel with spa, but in 9,000 square meters of an old fascist building, but all for regeneration. And they're also putting 1 to 2 million around the local community to regenerate. So it's just like, for me to see this in the hands of people who have resources who want to make the change, that just lit me up. And I started realizing, wow, it needs to happen on all levels and we can do it. And woo, I was so inspired. And a few of you had reached out. Thank you so much for your support. I just really was so touched by the messages to see me going back out in the world. It really took me 3 years after the birth of my son. We just celebrated his birthday a couple of weeks back, to really get into the world again, to feel in my body, to feel my power, and to really want to make that change, and just be able to travel for work and really bring that message out, and also facilitate these spaces where these conversations can happen, where the change can happen, where people can bring ideas together and really just grow that to the next level. So if you want to know more, if regeneration touches you, if any of this really speaks to you, please comment below, reach out. I would be so happy to share more. I just feel like we're at the point in time in society where we need to regenerate. There was a tagline that came out of the last call, which was so beautiful. It's not about regenerating for us now, but it's for the future generations of how we're going to do it. Probably missed the line slightly. I'll try and find it to put it in the email and the messages below, but just for you to know, it's time. We have no time to wait. Let's make this future possible. Let's regenerate together.